Welcome, my brothers. When was the last time a sister invited you to talk about her behind her back? Well, here's your chance.
This is an examination of Aafroqween's work, and we're giving the male perspective on it.
And human relationships don't always we often have expiration dates or alteration dates. I think when we can accept that, then when we do experience the love, it feels less like a risk, more like something we can do with perspective.
Let's talk about love, art, life.
This is an examination of Aafroqween's work, and we're giving the male perspective on it as you listen to her work. And I'm going to ask you some very specific questions for Aafroqween's sake, who's a fantastic poet, founder of the Sunrise Scribe, my 2020 twin. She has an amazing book that just came out, and she really wanted to get the opinions of some Black men and some poets to have this conversation, us separate and then us together, surrounding some of the poems and the work that she put forth. So I'm thanking you for coming for me to rock out and listen to the work and give your honest opinions on what you've heard. And I have some questions to ask you to see how you'll feel about the work and how it affects you as a Black man. All right. So, first things first, what were your initial thoughts when you received this invitation?
When I read the description about what it was like, yes, finally. Like that's what it felt like to me. Like a real conversation can be held to possibly bridge the gap.
All right, that sounds great. Omari.
Just intrigued.
Yeah, it makes sense. Logan.
I was kind of like, finally we get to tell them like our perspective on all the everything that we've been holding back, and we can say it unfiltered. But then I was like kind of curious as to how this would all pan out. So
Okay. Well, all right, now I'm going to share. I'm going to give you the welcomings first. So I'm going to play this for you for a second. All right, hold on.
Welcome, my brothers. When was the last time a sister invited you to talk about her behind her back? Well, here's your chance. I wrote Sound of My Voice, poetry from the journey to tell a Black woman's story in my own voice. But I believe my story doesn't only resonate with Black women. I want to be a part of creating spaces for healthy conversations about and with each other as Black men and women. In asking Black men to read my work and reflect on what it makes you think and feel, I pray my story is one such starting point of healthy interaction. Please understand, I'm not here fishing for accolades. In fact, I suspect that there may be issues and emotions that need unpacking, require grace, or maybe even offend. But that is not where I hope the story ends. Whatever challenges we face in truly expressing ourselves to one another as Black men and women, hearing each other, and doing the work that is necessary to love and respect each other into better spaces, I welcome the journey. I want to take this opportunity to thank my brother Mojave, my 2020 twin, for agreeing to facilitate this conversation amongst brothers. Initially, I intended to moderate this conversation myself, but then I thought, maybe this first time around, brothers need a space where they might feel safe to just reflect and share. It is my wholehearted intention that we pick up this conversation as Black men and women face to face. Like I said, I pray that this is just the beginning, the first step. I want you to know that I deeply appreciate you taking your time and bringing your hearts and minds to this effort. And I look forward to the follow-ups as we build this healthy interaction that I pray yields understanding, healing, and unification. Peace and blessings.
That was absolutely beautiful. And so away we go. I think that most times when we're hearing about people's stories, we have a tendency to look for us in the story and to find our center for it. For me, my sisters growing up in Flexion, because we grew up so close to each other and we're born on the same date, we regard each other as twins. We have a lot of the same sentiments in many different ways, but when stories are being told, I most certainly always listen to see if I can find myself in it. And I think it's a great undertaking that when we analyze work like this, one of the things that we do, especially amongst the 100 Poetry Collective and beyond, we listen to each other to hear what people are saying, because it allows us to understand that much better. And so I want my facilitation to be about understanding. I think the world of the men that are in this room right now with me, you are all my brothers, and I would give an arm or a leg for you without question because of who you are. And I think there's no better way to actually be with people that I'm already transparent and visible with, that I love so much, the brothers who I love, like there's no tomorrow. I really want the responses to be honest and earnest. So let me thank you now, and I'm going to go to the first thing that we're going to listen to. All right.
If I fall apart, can you mend me with the strength of your own heart? And bind me with devotion. For love is like an ocean, free and wide and vast and healing. I get this feeling that you know me. I get this feeling that you came to show me just what it is in this world I'm supposed to be. So much more than this bittersweet flesh. You scribble tender secrets, whispering sweet assurances of being there on the small of my back, with confident, soft fingertips. And I imagine an invisible trail of your whispers, they follow me, flapping nearly silent in the wind of the wake of my sway, like a faint but unforgettable scent. Sometimes you look at me as if to say, there is no doubt. I completely love you right now. And that's all that really matters, because baby, right now, I completely love you too. And I'll carry that gaze in my heart for sleepless nights interrupted by bitter words and sorry. Nevertheless, you are my refuge on Mondays when I hate the whole world for stealing my peace and reminding me that I live like a slave to its demands. So at 8, 10, 12, and 2, I imagine freedom as I anticipate coming home to you, remembering the abandon with which our first kisses consumed my world, craving the comfort with which your now kisses intensify my world, a study in repetition. You live in a space I simultaneously occupy, no farther than my shadow, just a breath ahead or a breath behind, depending on the positional pull of your will or the orientation of my submission. We run the marriage gauntlet like a three-legged race, clumsy and off balance, passionately propelled through till death do us part, in sync and connected, instinctively moving through the better and the worse. We feel like jazz, not smooth, but avant-garde, sophisticated, complicated for bars at a time, requiring study and practice to master, syncopating between the pocket and the chain, perfectly imperfect, allowing for our melodies and harmonies to blend like an ambitious cover of a love supreme. Thank you.
So, gentlemen, the question is, what emotions come up for you when you hear this piece? And the name of the piece is called Something Like a Love Supreme.
I honestly don't really know, like, what emotions that piece, like, bring out of me. I know when I was listening to the piece, beautiful piece, like, beautiful piece. But, I mean, we've had discussions before as far as, like, love and things like that go, and it sounds out of reach.
Out of reach, why? Why's that?
Like, for me, love for me has been like a very great contestant in hide and go seek. But I'm always the one seeking. And like, as of late, you know, my outlook on it has changed somewhat. But the piece is like, when I listen to pieces like that, it puts me in the mindset of the kid that's sitting down and I'm looking at Halle Berry on TV, and that's everything that this poem is talking about. But I know damn well I can never get that. A beautiful piece, but it scares me because it makes me feel like I'll never have that.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna put that in the parking lot, and I'm gonna go over here to Logan.
I do want to say that it was a beautiful piece. There were parts where I felt kind of like prideful in the fact that like she's saying the things that we've been lacking, and I also relate to Paul Cram, because it's just like, love is a master at hide and seek. Like, it's extremely elusive, especially like a healthy love that's going to help you build, and kind of like rebuild everything that was broken. That's like, if you find that, you found an Atlantis. So like, hearing the poem definitely gave like parts where it was just like, okay, this is the potential that we are scratching through the surface. Like, they are finally starting to understand us and where we're coming from. But like I also feel like it goes both ways. Like, it's a reciprocative road almost that you have to like take. Like, we want that from them. We also have to be willing to give it to them, if that makes sense.
Oh, it makes sense. It does make sense. Omari, what emotions come up for you when you hear this piece?
I don't know, it just made me, so as I was listening to it, it made me want to sit right next to Fasiwe, like shoulder to shoulder, like on a connecting, like brother to sister level. It drew me in a very personal way. I don't know if that's because I know her personally or not, but it drew me in a very personal connection way. It just felt like home. It felt like a really honing piece. That's what I got from it.
All right. This is good. This is very good. Okay.
And I didn't know she could sing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I heard it, but I didn't hear it before. I heard about it. But anyway.
This is my first time hearing this poet spit. I didn't know who this was until Omari just said their name. And
was I supposed to not say the name?
Yeah, you can say the name.
No, I just didn't know. Like I know the artist as Fasiwe. I don't know the artist as the name that we're under right now. So I didn't know. Right, I didn't know who that was, and then when I heard her singing, I was like, "Wow!" Then I heard the piece, and I was like, "Damn," you know. So I didn't realize she was like that close to, as far as all of us go. But I'm actually glad that I never heard her until just now. I think it gave me I'm not gonna say a better, but I think it gave me a more honest to myself opinion, because I didn't already love her. So that's why
Cool. I wanted to return to for a brief discussion on what we might feel is unattainable, what the work might make you feel like, and everything else is going on. I know that Omari has extensive interaction with Fasiwe through Sunrise Scribe, but for the unattainable love, through the piece that was happening when it feels that way, why would you, because you and Eros agreed on the same topic, why would you feel that it would be unattainable to have that kind of love?
Because of my history with the emotion. I believe in it, like as of late, like I believe in it. But like I said in one of my pieces, man, love has always, for me, has always been the perfect scout for faint. You know, it was like it was easy for love to disguise itself as something that really wanted to be a part of me, just to find a vulnerable spot to start the attack. And that's how I've always seen love. That's why it's very hard for me to trust the emotion, to trust when people tell me. Like I said, it's just as of late, with certain people that I've been around, certain people that it's to a different aspect of the emotion, which I'm appreciative for, but it's still new. Like that part of it is still new for me. Like I'm still accustomed to, this is going to find a way to hurt me. So that fairy tale, original Aunt Viv, Uncle Phil type of love, like I feel like it's a fairy tale that I wish was real, but if it never happens to me, I figure this much. Like that's just how I feel about it.
Logan, your opinion.
So I feel it's unattainable because a lot of people get lost in expectations. Like in today's day and age, you've got all of these like women who want to be like divine, in their like divine feminine or whatever, or like their divine like energies, but some of what they envision as encompassing their divine feminine entity and everything else like that kind of puts an extra taxing on the men, and just like what they want from like the guys is also kind of like unrealistic, because it's just like, hey, I want you to bend over backwards and fight the army of China who are zombies or something crazy. And then like other times it's easy to try to overcompensate as a guy because we've been told you have to be you have to be the protector, you have to be the provider, you have to be this, you have to be that, you have to like do X, Y, and Z to get A, B, and C. Um, and like a lot of guys also just aren't, not even just guys, but like women too. They're not emotionally present to receive it, or like they'll hear something and they'll listen to react, not necessarily understand or hear the perspective. So like to an extent and a degree, it is unattainable. Like I said, I had a couple of toxic situations um, where they portrayed to express that, like they were like, yeah, we're going to give this a safe space and make it a safe space for you, and then like not even a month down the road they are doing the complete adverse of what they said, and it's just like, this is not what was advertised. Like you say that you're in love with me or that you love the idea of me, but you are doing everything to break me. So yeah.
Okay. And before I go, Omari, do you have any commentary on the idea of love in the poem being unattainable?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't see love as unattainable. I see this pseudo existence of love, this thing that we think is love, that comes with many of the bells and whistles of love, as something that is unattainable. Its whole purpose is to appear to be attainable and then not be. But when it comes to love, because of my understanding of love in its pure essence, it's not only is it not unattainable, it's only possible.
Do you want to explain that a little bit further?
So love in its pure, love has no flaws, right? Everything that we document as pain or hurt that's associated with love is things that exist just outside of love. They might attach themselves to love. They might try to use love as a vehicle, these particular things. But love within itself, is pure, has no flaws. There's nothing malicious there, right? You can't dilute love, right? But that doesn't mean what you're seeing is love. It can feel like love, look like love, smell like love, but it ain't love. It's something else. And I think that's what a hurt is. That's where the pain is. So on and so forth.
Okay. All right. So, I'm going to move us on into our next piece that we're going to listen to. It's called Sun and Moon. I'm going to share that right now.
The sun said, "Welcome." The moon said, "I see you too." Born on the fourth day, phenomenon and witness, reflecting the other's inner energy in alter, synergy, certain, born for this dance. The sun said, I know you. The moon said, I know you too. Deferring to one another's needs, graciously, bowing to each other in patient, loving submission. The sun said, there is room for you. Moon said, there is room for you too. Establishing circle as the shape and path of all existence. How to rotate is to receive. How to revolve is to give. How to align is to hold space. The sun said, I've got you. And the moon said, I've got you too.
All right, I'm gonna play this one more time, just for the record.
The sun said, welcome. The moon said, I see you too. Born on the fourth day, phenomenon and witness, reflecting the other's inner energy in alter, synergy, certain, born for this dance. The sun said, I know you. The moon said, I know you too. Deferring to one another's needs, graciously, bowing to each other in patient, loving submission. The sun said, there is room for you. Moon said, there is room for you too. Establishing circle as the shape and path of all existence. How to rotate is to receive. How to revolve is to give. How to align is to hold space. The sun said, I've got you. And the moon said, I've got you too.
I'm actually going to put up her notes for this particular piece about Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon is about relationship, a special relationship. A few times in my poetry, I ventured into personifying different aspects of life to investigate the meaning behind them. The sun and the moon are two prolific entities in our world. Writing poetry about them is something that not only have I done, but for many poets throughout the history have done. This was my attempt at interacting with those entities in an artistic way, also using them to explore relationships. All right. You hear the two entities, the sun and moon, saying, I see you, I recognize you, I accept you, I receive you, and there's room for you. She's like establishing circle in the shape of path of all existence. Establishing circle was about them saying to each other and illustrating how everything comes full circle in life. If we are really intentional and observant about it, we will see that. However, as humans, sometimes we get short-sighted, we get tunnel vision, or we adopt this linear idea of thinking about the world and our lives. We can get caught up in stuff thinking that there's a straight line destination journey that we are supposed to be on, trying to get there, wherever there is. But like I said, if we are intentional and mindful about it, we can look at our lives and we will see that things tend to come full circle, and that's just the way of life. We always come to the end of something, but at the end of something, we always find the beginning again. To be more practical about it, let's look at life, death. We live these lives. We may end them, but our children begin them again. Then they may end, but their children begin again and carry things with them through to the next generation. So we continue. How to rotate is to receive, how to revolve is to give, and how to align is to hold space. All right, I'm gonna stop right there. Based on your time and how you perceive the energy, how does this feel in relation to your life, your relationships, how you believe things happen to be in your particular world, how you may have received somebody or included them. How does this piece affect that idea of that?
It kind of make me think that a lot of things that I'm afraid of, I do. Like, I don't know, like this piece really made me look at myself, because as bad as I want to be accepted by love or by a certain individual, anything like that, like I can only imagine at this point in time how hard I make it for them because of my fear. Like, what energy do I really give off? Because listening to that piece, and I was like, I welcome, I see you. Okay, cool, that part's easy. But then when it gets to, I accept you, like, am I really accepting this person if I'm already waiting on them to fuck up? So it made me look at me. This piece made me really look in the mirror.
Okay. I have a follow-up question, but I'm going to move through first before I could return to it. How do you feel about that relationship between sun and moon, and what does it mean to you in your relationships or life? Omari, are you there?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay.
So for me, it's the relationship between sun and moon. I think we could like easily kind of like chalk it up to like the yin and yang, but I think it's deeper than that.
How so?
Well, because the sun and moon to me, I mean, just on a cosmic level, it allows our nuances to come forward as humans, right? As people. So it allows us to I think there's two versions of each of us, right? And maybe sometimes it's more. I think there's two dominant versions of each of us. That doesn't necessarily mean that those sides balance each other out. It just means they coexist, right? One may harm the other. One may inform the other. One may heal the other. I think we subconsciously use that, either our sun side or our moon side. Sometimes we consciously use it. Sometimes we subconsciously use it to get through a moment or to deal with an issue. To me, that's less about balance and more about one's fullness of character, one's fullness of being, and exploring it and accessing it. But less about balance, more about usage, more about application.
I wanted to return back to you, Paul Cram. When you talking about the possible hurting, waiting on love. Would you like to go into that a little bit further?
It's I don't know, I almost expect it. So when it doesn't happen in the time frame that I feel like it should happen, I think I begin to self-sabotage. Because I'm now starting to think like, and it's, I don't know, like poetry has a tricky way of playing with certain people, man. But like, for a long time, it was easy for me to just blame love, and then sitting here listening to Omari, and like, love is pure, and there's some things that may attach itself to love, but love itself is, there's no flaw. And sitting there thinking about that and listening to that piece just now, and it's like, I don't know, I'm starting to think, did I blame love for my fear? Like, have I pushed love away due to me being afraid, not just of being hurt, but afraid that it didn't. Like, I wouldn't know what to do if love didn't hurt me. I wouldn't know what my next move's supposed to be. Like, the situation I'm in now, like, that's exactly what I'm dealing with. It's realizing that love doesn't have to hurt. So, like, I'm stuck looking for pain that's not even there because that's what I'm accustomed to. So this piece made me like really self-reflect. Like, I don't have to create the pain if it's not there. And if I don't have to create the pain that's not there, why have I been blaming love all this time when it was my own fear that kept me from my own happiness?
What I want to add that's specific to the piece, which I feel relates, and then I'm going to read what she wrote. How to rotate is to receive. How to revolve is to give. How to align is to hold space. And I think that what you're speaking on currently about love doesn't have to hurt and all these other things, you know, you're in comparison to the piece, you are rotating because you're receiving and you're revolving while you're giving, and you're learning how to hold space that's devoid of the hurt that you're experiencing. And I think that's a completely different thing to you because it's something that you don't know, so it's unfamiliar. And when we're not familiar with a new feeling or a new instance, it can cause some fear. It can cause some trepidation. It could cause like something that makes you hesitant. You know, actually, I wanted to talk to Omari about that. In your opinion, when someone is learning to rotate, receive, revolve, and align, you know, in your opinion, what do you think would be the thing that would happen, the next steps that would occur?
Well, for me, it becomes a matter of accepting the unknown, right? Accepting risk. Because to love is to take a risk. Because providing and offering and giving and feeling love does not guarantee the reciprocity of love. It doesn't mean that it'll be returned, or it doesn't mean that it will be fully available. So I always say, you know, we can live our lives mourning what doesn't happen for us, especially when we run away from it, right? So the pain that you endure and not taking the risk to open yourself up to love is like an emotional breakup every day that you experience it, right? You're mourning every day a relationship that didn't happen, a love that didn't happen, a love you never had and lost. At least with love, you could have a great relationship or a beautiful experience. There might be some harshness that comes along with it that ends that particular relationship or changes it. But at least that love bubble that happened inside of it will always exist. That will always be your experience. You'll always have that takeaway. So I think what we have to do is assess from a practical standpoint that we're human, and human relationships don't always have, we often have expiration dates or alteration dates. I think when we can accept that, then when we do experience the love, it feels less like a risk more like uh, a, something we can do with perspective.
That's pretty good. Matter of fact, continue that thought. She writes, when you look at how constellations move, how planets move, how sun and the moon move, some of these entities rotate, and some of these entities revolve, right? Certain things happen in the universe when planets come into alignment. It shifts and changes the atmosphere for us. If we look at our lives, some of us are like that in our ecosystem. We are the ones that rotate in our families. We stay centered, but we turn, and we are always receiving in that sense. We are stable and able to look at all the people around us, and we are receiving from them. Some of us revolve, meaning we are the ones who are always going around to everyone, giving out, checking on everybody, making sure everybody is good, going to people where they are, meeting people where they are at, and pouring out into them so that they are okay. There are times in our lives where we come into alignment with each other, with the people in our families and our communities, whether it's intentional or unintentional. Have you ever been in a situation where you are so in alignment with someone that you recognize that they need you to listen? They need someone to just give them some time to express themselves, and because we are in alignment, we have some time and space to do that for one another. So those were some of the principles in life I was exploring in this poem as well. And then she actually includes a picture of her and her husband, which is kind of cool.